Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review, we're going to be looking at the Transformers 40th anniversary. This is their Generation 1 Optimus Prime figure in his G1 animation accurate colour scheme. So in this video, we're going to unbox him in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. You can see I've got an original G1 boxed example behind as well. The reason for that is just in case anybody is looking to box or frame these figures, we need to know if the dimensions are of course the same. I've got the missing link. I've got another Generation 1 Optimus Prime figure. I've got various other Optimus Prime figures as well, just to give us an idea of how he looks, how he displays, and I suppose in some aspects how far we've come since, of course, this particular figure. Now, a couple of things I need to first and foremost thank In Demand Toy Stores in the UK, which is where this came from, and of course to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. We have to start off with, though, looking at the packaging, because the packaging, it's just brilliant. And the reason why it's just brilliant is because it's a Generation 1 box. Exactly the same sort of setup. However, the only difference I can see obviously is inside it's plastic and not polystyrene. Same, exactly the same, I suppose, what's the word I'm after, artwork, but of course in the new colour scheme. It looks great. On the top again, transformation process with the new colour scheme. Same again as the original G1 boxes, products on the side, and then on the back we've got the beautiful 1984 battle scene, which of course is what introduced us to lots of the Transformers. It's still got the tech specs, although it's pretty small and a bit squished up there, you can see. And in fact, if I bring it there, you can pause it and you can read it at your own leisure. Right, so as I say, the reason why I've got this box behind me is this is the original Optimus Prime box, and as you can see, guys, it's quite a bit bigger, which is a bit surprising. When I saw the box that this came in, again, I was quite surprised. It is a bit smaller. So let me just tilt this up so you can see. It's a few millimeters smaller, excuse the reflection, in the width. So as I say, I think that's probably down to the fact that you've got the plastic insert instead of the polystyrene. It's also a couple of millimeters smaller. So again, if you're looking to display this in a display case, again, apologies for the glare there, you're going to need a different size. So it's not your industry standard box size, which again might be a bit disappointing for people, but at least you're now fully aware of that. Let me just move this out of the way and let's start to look at this particular figure. Now, what's interesting is it looks like it's got the metal plates, but it's not at all. These are screws. So I've only seen images. I've not seen any videos. I've not seen anything on this particular figure at all. I wanted to do, as I do with all my video reviews, just look at it with an open mind. So I don't watch other people's reviews for that. So a lot of this might be things that you guys know already because you've seen. So let's have a look inside. I've opened up the side there. And the other interesting thing is, I suppose for myself, is this is the first reissue that I think I've ever brought. And the reason why I get asked this all the time, how come you don't buy reissues? To be honest, I've been really lucky enough, let's slide that out of there, in my collecting history to have not needed to buy a reissue figure. Because I was lucky enough to own the originals, because when I started collecting, the figures were, you know, less than half the price, way less than half the price of what they actually cost now. And I suppose unless it's actually different, I'm not really too interested, even though I do collect loads of variants. The reason why I've got this is because, as I say, it's different, and I'm really pleased as well that it looks like they're going to be definitely now continuing the retro toy lineup, because we've also seen images of Bombshell. Right, the instructions are there. These look nice. I think this one's got a roller in, which is interesting because obviously the missing link use of the trailer is very different. So let's have a look. Oh no, I mean the roller launcher. So let's have a look at it anyway. So packaged all inside a plastic box. Plastic, I think they call them clamshells, but it's not clamping over it. So perhaps this one isn't called a clamshell at all. It's also interesting that the parts are light blue-ish. They're definitely lighter than what most people would class as the original trailer, because the original trailer is here. Again, we're going to do some comparisons. You can see that the blue is much darker. However, I don't think it's as light blue as some of the first releases of Optimus Prime with the intended light blue parts as they transitioned from Diaclone. I'm going to cut out roller as well. I love the fact that he's silver. Again, that's like in the cartoon. And of course, again, it's the original first colours that he was, again, with the Diaclone figure. Can I get this out quickly whilst we're talking? Yeah, so, and I suppose the main topic of conversation for this particular figure is, you know, who's it aimed at? Does it have a place? Because obviously, you know, we've got Missing Link now. Missing Link has been absolutely fantastic. And does this figure sort of, you know, have a place still? Releasing them brand new, and I think it definitely does, because there's lots of people out there who would, I suppose you've got two different types of collectors. You've got myself, who's of course going to get it because it's different and it is a brilliant homage back to the cartoon, and we never had this. And obviously a lot of the figures that we had as G1 were original toys anyway, so we didn't really get, you know, cartoon accurate decos on screen, which I'm sure you're aware of that anyway. And of course the biggest examples will be things like Ironhide and indeed Ratchet, because, you know, the toys came first. So with the fact, as I say, we've got a Missing Link already, where does this fit in? This just fits in for the perfect opportunity for anybody who doesn't own a Generation 1 figure to now own one. And as I say, for people like myself who just can't believe how nice that looks. Right, we're going to come to that in a second. In fact, no, let's have a look at it. So this is the original. This is Diaclone. This is the Diaclone Blue from Powered Convoy, and this is of course Transformers history. This is where they began, and it's just great now to see that we've got exactly that, you know, a cartoon accurate, a screen accurate representation of the figure that came out, you know, 40 odd years ago. So that's really good. I love the fact as well that we've still got the rubber tires. They haven't gone for the chrome inside for obvious reasons, because chrome wouldn't be sort of screen accurate. However, it does look really nice. I love that bit of painted underside there. That'll look much better when we get into robot mode. Smokestacks again aren't chrome, but they're longer than I thought, to be fair. I had a look at the packaging, and the packaging made me think that they would be much smaller. You can see there, I thought they would perhaps be cut off, because I know that they did start to do that, of course, due to health and safety reasons. But it just looks so good. Right, we're going to come back to the cab in a second. So let's fold out these to stand it up like so. Pull this down and open this up. And yes, it does have a launcher. It's got something quite new there. It's pretty much like that is, guys. So for those of you who are unaware, Takara and Hasbro sometimes made figures slightly differently. And I've not got it here, but I've got it in a video on here. It's the Takara Super Launcher, as it was known. So this is a normal G1 trailer. And as most of you can probably remember, in fact, yeah, you can still see that, this was, of course, the launch, and it only did this tiny little bit of movement, unless you owned a trailer number 6, which was a Takara Super Launcher. And as I say, I haven't got it here, it's in its box, unfortunately, because I didn't realise it was going to be like that. But if you want to check it out, it's called exactly that. I've called the video Takara Optimus Prime Super Launcher, and it used to catapult, in fact, look, well, exactly what it's supposed to do. Yeah, that's good, but again, the Takara one is, I suppose, it's vicious. It's got pure venom the way it fires it off. So I could be wrong, but I didn't see any stickers. So this is the first time I think I've ever seen one. Do I use the word as dull or as bland as that? But I suppose, again, could be more cartoon accurate. I love this inside. It doesn't look like this is going to be taken off at all. The screws there, for some reason, they're really obvious on the outside. It's holding that in. But on the original trailer, they didn't, no, they were in there and they didn't have the screws. So I don't know how they've managed to do that, or what they've changed in order for us to now see the screws on the outside. But I'm sure you guys already know this, but I'm going to show it you anyway. This, of course, again, goes back to the fact that it used to be a Diaclone, and this was a legitimate, it was a repair bay for the cab of Optimus Prime, rather than it being just sort of a standalone trailer. So you would stand your figure in there, and of course, as I've just said, it would be a repair bay, and you would also have a little pilot. Does this open up? I don't think that opens up, which would of course be able to sit in there. It must do. There's hinges on it, or is it molded in? Oh, it does open up, but I was going to say either way, unfortunately, for every single thing that we've got it doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have a function, unfortunately. However, I'm loving the fact that it's sort of the light blue parts. I'm really pleased with the fact that it does have a launcher. So let's be honest, if you're buying this now for another reason, you're buying this to play with, you can actually have some good playability with it, because it's got the original function of the fact that you can launch roller off the back. So that is really good. I'm sure the dimensions are exactly the same. Excuse me, but let's just have a quick look. Yeah, these are looking identical. So if I stack them this way, it's just what I would class as a duller grey, but again, it's a duller, darker grey to match the animation. So there is the original, and again, you can see they've got the rubber tyres, but they haven't gone for the chrome on the inside. Let's move that one out of the way. Roller, all the details again are exactly the same, apart from the fact that this one is silver, which looks great. You can also, of course, pop the gun on the top like so, and I don't think, I'll just double check, as I say, I'll just double check whether you can take the thing off. I don't think you can. No, just wanted to double check that, because obviously with, of course, the commander class, and indeed with the missing links, you can take them off. What's also interesting is it says that they fire missiles. So let's have a look. So here's all the parts. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not going to take them off the sprue just for this video. What I am going to do, though, again, because I've still kept it quite near, is I'm just going to use the ones that I've got, I suppose, to hand here from this bag from the original. So I'm imagining or hoping that the parts are still the same, because if they're not, they won't fit in. Let me just double check, actually, because I might now have to take these off. No, they look the same. Let's have a look. No, they can't be the same. So I am, unfortunately, I didn't really want to, but as I say, this is for me. Let's take it out. So let's have a look. So what you've got here, you have a pump, a hose, and a nozzle, again, because if it's not a repair bay, you can also use it to refuel. So what you would do is you would pop this into this side of the trailer. This is really awkward reaching around a camera, so that would be in there, and of course you could then come in a truck form or whichever, and you can of course top him up. There's a fuel nozzle on there, which is great. The best thing about all these figures is that they were, and they still are, play sets. So as I say, you can have a lot of fun with these. Let's see if this fits in. It does. Oh, of course it's not going to fire. There's no trigger, there's nothing inside there at all. You can just put it in. So this is purely display purposes. There isn't a spring, there's nothing that you can launch it from. Again, the Sakara one had a crazy launching one, but even the ones we got in the UK, the Seijay ones, did launch a little bit. That one doesn't even have a spring inside, so it can't do that. Right, that's pretty much all there is, I think, then to say about the trailer. I know a lot of people, funny enough, leave comments saying that they wished that Hasbro or Takara wouldn't sell Optimus Primes with trailers anymore. Legitimately, you can check some of the comments that that's what people actually would rather that they didn't anymore, to save money and to save, I suppose, the cost of buying Optimus Prime, which in some way I sort of understand. But I think anybody, again, who was around when these figures first come out, because it's just so iconic, it always does need one. I think nowadays maybe with newer figures, obviously, like we had the Earthrise Prime, which didn't have one, which this was the Netflix one, but of course the main one did. In some cases it's acceptable, but I think with this being a 40th anniversary, it absolutely did have to have one. Right, so we've seen a quick comparison with the Diaclone one. This is one of the newest ones. Unfortunately, I don't have the 86 with me. I've had to give that back to Hasbro, but this is more your sort of industry standard one at the moment. So again, I suppose you can sort of see how things have improved over time. I've got a few other figures here, so that's of course one of the newest ones. That is how I suppose they're saying that this guy maybe originated from, but I'm just giving you an idea and a feel of some of the figures that are out now, I suppose, to show you the difference. Funnily enough, there's a little deluxe class figure as well, and just because he's here, funnily enough, let's have a look at him compared with, these are sort of classed as a Voyager figure. So it's interesting where you'd put Prime. Would you put him in between a Voyager or a Deluxe? I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments anyway. Right, let's do what we want to do then. Let's get him into his robot mode. So I'm hoping that they haven't changed the transformation like they have with Missing Link. That is quite stiff. Yeah, it is quite stiff. this is coming out. So yes, unfortunately guys, you are going to need the fists, and perhaps I should have showed you that. The old way, of course, to keep the fists when you were a kid is they stay in there like that, and it did mean that your cab would rattle around a bit, but of course it also sometimes meant that you wouldn't lose them, which is obviously good because you wouldn't want to be losing the particular figures. Let's bring this up a tiny touch more, and then of course the fold over the head. In the newer figures, that was where the rub sign went, so that's why there's an indentation there, and in the pre-rub versions there was of course just your it was just literally a roof, to be honest. Let's close this up. There's the lovely, lovely blue eyes. Let's pop the fists in. So again, this is, I suppose, a little bit more geek talk with regards to Prime. The fists and the weapon accessories are what would be known as the bloated, because they're much, much bigger and much, much thicker. Again, you can see videos of that on this particular channel. I don't want to bore everybody with perhaps too much detail. I want to give you enough, but not some of the crazy over-the-top details that you might just not need to know. That is a Generation 1 Optimus Prime figure, and funnily enough, I can show you exactly what I mean about bloated right now, because this one isn't the bloated parts and this one is. So you can see how much thicker this gun looks compared to how much thinner this one does. And again, these were both released in thin and bloated parts with the originals all them years ago. And in fact, Mark Maher's done an absolutely amazing homage with the new Legacy one that's about to come out, because he's giving you the ability, he's given both guns, he's given the bloated and the standard gun, and that's the reason why. As I say, it goes a little bit deep, it's a bit of a deep cut with Transformers Optimus Prime collectors, because there's just so many variants. So you've got original there, this is the new one, and then this is your missing link sort of Toon Prime. So I mean, this one wins hands down for Toon accuracy, doesn't it? It really does. Obviously what this one is missing compared to that is the Matrix and the Matrix chamber. Obviously we're not talking about articulation as well, but yeah, they've made use of the fact that there's nothing in there. They've also changed the color. That's reminiscent of the Goodbye Convoy light blue windows, in all honesty. Again, I've done a video on that, and I'm going to do a big massive video on all the primes straight after this. I'm just trying to work out if he's a little bit taller. If he is, that might be pure fluke, or it could just be that, let's be honest, this one has had a lot of playtime in the past. So right, there he is. Let's bring in just a few other Optimus Primes. We're going to have a look at his articulation for what it's worth in a minute as well, but again, I know lots of people aren't G1 collectors or have no idea on the size of this guy. So yeah, he is. He's bigger than a deluxe. This is quite a big deluxe figure, but he's not as big as what we know as the Voyager. So yeah, so this is the Netflix one. That is obviously the Transformers one. One of the biggest ones I've got here is the Reactivate Prime. Let's see how he's going to hold up now then. This is Jinrai, but I know it's also known as Powermaster Optimus Prime, but he's Jinrai because he's got different paint apps and he's got a metal cab. And I'm doing a video on him currently at the moment as well. That's why he's at hand. Let's see, what else have we got. Let's bring in, of course, I think one of the main reasons why I'm really pleased that they've continued with these. He's not even going to fit in. He's huge. I'll adjust the camera in a second. Hopefully we get a proper mainline release of this cartoon color accurate Galvatron, to be fair. So let me just move him out of the way because you can't even see him. Let's bring in a few of these. So you can see, oops, there we go, that they do all, yeah, they do all sort of work really, really well. And it's nice, and it's a little bit odd, but it's also incredibly satisfying as well to see these figures in these colors. As I say, maybe it's more of an age thing. Let's quickly just lift this up. So there you go. That is, of course, the cartoon color accurate uses of these particular figures. I'm just having a quick look around to see if there's anything else to give you an idea of scale and size with, but to be honest, there really isn't. And it is, I don't want to say it like I'm just brushing it off. It is just a Generation 1 Optimus Prime cab, but it's fantastic because of the colors. It's fantastic. So he's obviously got wrist articulation because you've just seen me put the hands on. That is perhaps one of the negatives, again, that you can lose them. I love the fact as well that it's got to go over the top. You could never, with an original G1 Prime, you could never have the gun facing forward no matter how hard you tried. And I know that sounds really odd and really weird, especially with today's figures, but it was just one of them things that you couldn't do, and it's nice in some ways that you still can't. It's interesting that they've got that, unless I've got it completely wrong on this particular one. I need to check the old sticker manual that it's on that side. The original owner must have put that on the wrong side, because the missing link does concur and have it on that particular shoulder as well. Now, even though these aren't chrome, you can still see it's reflecting really, really well, to be honest. Smokestacks, gas cans and smokestacks are a lovely silver color, but not a reflective sort of silver. The articulation, the head doesn't move, it never did. I just wanted to double check that, and I don't want to run the risk of breaking it. So yeah, all we had as kids for articulation, although that's now on ratchets, which is new, because the other one didn't used to make that sort of sound, did it? Oh, maybe it did. Again, it's so long since I've had a brand new Optimus Prime Generation 1 cab in my hand. These move up and down, obviously. You do get to turn them, but that is mainly for transformation process. There's definitely no ab crunch. There's definitely no legs kicking forward or out to the side. It sort of kicks back, but as we've got to be honest, that is for transformation purposes only. That bit looks new at the back, and I know it's not. There's bits here that are just popping up, and again, maybe it's my memory, but I thought that looked a little bit new. There might be a little bit more play in that than there is in the original, but again, it could just be the fact that I've got a really old version. So there wasn't, you know, huge articulation in this. It's just nice to see it. It's I can't explain it. I can't put it into words just yet of how, I don't know, maybe it's just nostalgia. I just can't believe that I'm holding a G1 Prime in cartoon accurate colours in my hands, because it's something that we perhaps thought we'd never get. We've obviously had loads and loads of incarnations of Prime that have made them look like the cartoon, etc. over all the years, but never did I think they'd just go back and give us the original mould like this. Even when they did the animation Missing Link in the original G1 toy Missing Link, these are both good in their own way, but this one hits the nostalgia factor. That's the word I'm trying to say. It just really hits the nostalgia factor for me, and I don't think there's much more to say, guys. It is a really, really nice looking figure. And then the other question, of course, is do you need another Optimus Prime in your collection? The answer for this one is most definitely yes, because he is unlike anything that you've ever seen before. Right down to the fact, as I say, that the trailer is the same colours, the roller is the correct colour, everything's the correct colour. If I want to be pedantic and negative, the only negative is that the missiles don't fire. But let's be honest, I don't think that's a deal breaker with most people. I love it. I love the fact that we got the right packaging. I've got nothing more to say about this, because I really have, I think, praise this figure enough. But there you go, guys. I want you to tell me what you think in the comments. Have you got one on pre-order? Are you going to get one? Let me know. Take care.